Persistence. The bra's breathing spicules fluttered as he struggled for breath, skittering across the forest floor. Flat trees loomed over him, their sweet aroma cloying instead of being soothing, as he normally found it. The forest was too dense for speeders. He had abandoned his once the saplings around the edge evolved into their massive counterparts, in hope that his pursuer would do the same. The bra was no fool. He knew he deserved the bounty on his head, every last ounce of it. Robbery did not go easily unnoticed when the dim were involved, and a cargo of pulacha spice was difficult to sell even in the most secretive markets. The moment he had seen the bounty listed on his head, he'd made his way to the nearest sanctuary he knew. He had spent the entire 3-day journey there looking over his shoulder, but no bounty hunter came, and he had felt safe. But it was a foolhardy plan, he admonished himself. He had hardly landed his own craft when he'd seen another ship touch down, marked with the red triangles of the Bounty Hunters Guild. However, it wasn't that sight that had made his chitin contract in fear. It was the pilot. She was deceptively small, clad in simple but effective blast armor. A Sundancer rifle was casually slung over her shoulder, as if she were unaware of the fact that it could blow a hole clean through most sentient species. Her helmet bore the same markings as her ship. A red visor was covering her face, and no doubt relaying her critical information, even as he watched. There was no mistaking that body shape, or the casual, even reckless attitude toward danger. The dim had sent a human after him. And so the bra had turned and fled, clambering onto his speeder and letting it carry him away from her as fast as he could. He could feel her watching him as her head whipped towards the hum of the speeder, even as he made his way into the shadows of the flower forest. It wasn't much of a head start, but against a human he would need every advantage he could get. Humans were not the most heavily armoured sentients, nor the fastest, nor the strongest. However, they had risen to become the elites of the Bounty Hunters Guild for one reason: their sheer persistence. They could pursue a target for days, their hardy constitutions letting them survive on just a few hours' sleep. Where others collapsed from sheer exhaustion, humans simply kept on going, not in a hurry, just waiting their prey out. The bra could feel his own exhaustion setting in. He had barely eaten or slept since the bounty had been announced. He stumbled as one of his legs snagged on a tree root, forcing him to rush forward in order not to fall over. Once he fell, he knew he was finished. So he kept running, not even bothering to check behind him for the telltale flash of red. A blast cannoned through the trees, blowing a hole into the trunk just ahead of him. The bra whistled with fear, his chitin reflexively moving to cover his vulnerable joints, but he kept running. There was simply nothing else he could do. He had abandoned his own blaster in an effort to carry less weight, something the human had undoubtedly noticed. Noticing a tree covered in vines, he scrambled up the makeshift holds, resting on a branch close to the trunk where the human could not shoot him. Within minutes, the human was there, strolling completely unhurried towards the tree. "Give it up, Bug," she called up. "I'm getting pretty fed up of chasing you."
"Not a chance,"
yelled the bra.
"The dim will peel my plates off one by one for what I did."
"Well, then you shouldn't have stolen their damn cargo." When the bra did not emerge, the human settled on the ground, legs contorting into some sort of knot. "Fine. I can wait. Can you?" In truth, the bra could not. He was already weak from hunger and fatigue, and the human still had her pack with her. The minute he fell asleep, he would lose, and the dim would have his head. However, he was not ready to give up yet.
"I'd rather chew off my legs than be taken,"
he yelled defiantly down at the human, who merely shrugged. "Take your time. I'll be here when you're ready to drop." Although the stalemate had only been going for a few hours, to the bra it felt like an eternity. He nearly caught himself dozing several times, barely stopping himself from falling off his branch. Risking a glance downward, he saw that the human was also flagging, having propped herself up against the tree to take a quick nap. He let out a whistle of relief and began slowly inching his way backward. A soft noise, barely more than a whisper, made him pause. The Bra found himself face to face with the human, completely devoid of her armour. Up close, her face was soft and fleshy, bright red strands of hair sticking to her forehead with sweat. "Gotcha," she said triumphantly, snaking out a hand to grab the Bra's foreleg. He skittered backwards, the human following him, until they were at the very edge of the branch. The Bra looked desperately between the human and the forest floor below him, then made his choice. As he fell, he could feel his foreleg rip from his socket where the human was still holding it. It hurt, yes, but he knew it would end quickly. The human flung the dismembered foreleg to the ground in annoyance, and shimmied back down the tree. With her foot, she poked the remains of her quarry. He was definitely dead, she realized. Fortunately, the bounty had not specified his condition. With a grunt, she ripped his head from his shoulders and placed it in a bag designed specifically for this purpose. She donned her armour, noting that another bounty had come through. A Litlani, near enough to make the bounty worth her time. The human slung her prize over her shoulder and began walking back towards her ship. After all, there was no rush. Read by me, a good bean.